Welcome back to the Jameson Files. I'm your host, Carrie Weber, and I find this hard to believe, but it has been 5 years since I've had the amazing Teresa Duncan on as a guest. I'm embarrassed, and I'm so happy to have you back. So, Teresa, thank you so much for being with me today.
Thanks a lot. I was starting to get like Carrie withdrawal, like what the heck? So, but no,
Right.
we do talk all the time, but I
We
am
do.
glad that I'm back on here. Thank you.
We talk all the time, but we're going to try to be very professional and serious. I mean, as best as we can. We're going to try and not lose track of time. That's what we're going to try to do.
But we're going to
Um,
entertain.
yeah, that's right. Um, there's just so much, my gosh, so much. I just want to say, first of all, and I know from the people that are probably part of the Jameson Files community that are going to watch this episode or listen to this episode, you are deeply respected in the profession in dentistry. And I'm going to speak for all of us when I say thank you so much for what you do for our profession and staying on top of insurance and revenue cycle management. And my gosh, that is a juggernaut of a system of, an aspect of the dental practice today. It's always been a major piece, but wow, now
Yeah.
it's mind blowing to me what it takes to successfully manage that in a practice,
Yeah.
and where what the things that are coming down the line that I'm sure are going to even make it more complex and complicated. So I'm grateful to you for being a voice
Oh,
in that space, and for giving me the time to talk a little bit about it today.
no, and thank you for that. It is like I feel like it's the biggest onion in our industry. Like when you started, like it was not this complicated, and now
Mhm.
it really, I can't teach X without explaining A and B over here. Like it's
Right.
just not a simple topic anymore. And with all this technology coming at us, you would think it's getting easier, and I feel like it's not. I feel like it's getting more complex. And then what you and I and your coaches have talked about is it's hard to train someone in all of it because it feels like there's a nook and cranny that you just didn't tell them about, and maybe
Right.
you didn't know about, and that is going to cost you a lot of money in the practice. And so
Yeah.
I don't want to scare anybody listening, but and there is there are ways to mitigate it, but my goodness, you can't just do it in addition to other things. Like it's just that's how I was. I did insurance and reception and treatment planning. There's no way I could do that with today's environment. It's just impossible.
It's people are still trying to manage it like they always did,
Hmm.
and or they're not putting enough emphasis on appropriately training or being trained on what it takes to really do it efficiently and effectively. Because missed steps in insurance management can cost you in a variety of ways,
Yeah.
and in any of the ways that it costs you, you don't want to be faced with that. I mean, you and I, accounts receivable,
Yeah.
um, and the legality of doing it correctly,
Well,
is
that's
dangerous
the thing.
too.
But that's the thing. It's not just a monetary, like you could put a dollar on it, but that's just part of it. You've
Mhm.
got, if you get things wrong and the patient gets a bill afterwards, you've lost the trust of a patient. How do you even put a price on that?
Mhm.
Then you've got, like you said, the compliance piece. Like if there's a complaint or an audit or something like that, like the cost comes down the road. Like you're going to get a
Mhm.
really big bill, but the cost of the team and the burnout that comes with it. And for me, the loss of confidence is what I am more concerned with because
Mm.
I was so confident as a treatment plan presenter because I knew how the benefits would work. And that confidence carries over to the patient. And any little hesitation makes the patient think maybe they don't really know what they're talking about. And even
Mhm.
if it's financial, they start to feel like it's a part and parcel of the whole
Right.
practice. And so I want our patients to never have a moment of doubt. And I
Mhm.
also never want them to get a surprise bill, but the system is a little hard right now to
Yeah.
get those results. So I mean, one thing that I've talked with your coaches about is yes, it's important to verify benefits and to make sure that there's benefits remaining and what the coverage is going to be. But because of the systems that they have, it's all over the place. Like we think we're getting the eligibility and the benefits through the practice management software, and we
Mhm.
don't get what we need. So what are we doing? We're going to the portal, and then we can't find what we need. And so we get on the phone. And I know offices that do all three because they just want to make sure they don't miss anything. So can you imagine being a doctor and all you're hearing is, well, I'm doing it this way because I don't want to miss anything. Like that's like what's taking 15 minutes is now taking your star employee, probably high paid employee,
Mhm.
30 minutes at
Yes.
minimum. And so I just don't like duplicate work. I don't like inefficiency, but I feel like that's what we've settled for, I guess, in this
Mhm.
in this field. Yeah.
Well, and that, what we could go so many directions with what you just said, because number one, you also add to that cake another layer of the, what you said, you want the patients to understand.
Mm-hmm.
They don't understand.
No,
They don't understand, and we as a profession are frustrated with having to help them understand.
I know. I know.
Or we
Well,
don't know
because
how to communicate to them in a way that they understand what their relationship with dental benefits really, what that really means. And,
yeah, it's a
that's a
mind shift for us,
yeah,
Carrie. It's a mind
that's
shift for us because we were always taught. I grew up saying insurance is your responsibility. I'm going to help you as much as I can. But now I feel like if you're not an insurance friendly, not insurance driven, but insurance friendly office, the doctor is or the patient is going to find an office that is going to take 5 minutes on the phone
yeah.
to explain things. And that office should get that patient. They're going the extra mile.
Yes.
I feel like you need to have a little bit extra when you're on the phone with an insurance patient.
Mhm.
And I mean, not, and it's very rare when you don't, when your office is being called by all non insurance patients. Like,
Mhm.
you're going to get insurance patients. So I feel we just need to embrace the fact that it is what it is. Let's see if we can make the best of it. And I know the other and piggybacking off of that, one of the biggest comments back to me when I talk about how difficult it is. Well, we're just going to go out of network. We're not going to have to deal with any of this.
Right.
And it's, I mean, I like that, but it's still work. So
Mhm.
your front office, your admin team is actually the first year that you're out of network, probably going to work just as hard, if not harder, because they're going to need to verify out of network benefits. And you don't have the easiness of having the fee schedule there. Now you're going to have to find out what is this random
Mm.
ghostly fee schedule that they're going to apply when they
Mm.
do the benefits. So I think it's harder, much harder to be out of network.
I'm gonna give a nod and a reference for everybody. Teresa has her own podcast called Nobody Told Me That, and I mean, I recommend this to everybody. That as one of the I have a slide when I'm doing presentations of recommended reading and podcasts, and your getting patients to say yes to treatment book,
Moving your patients to
moving
yes.
your patients to yes. Sorry,
That's okay.
terrible plug. Moving Your Patients to Yes, your book, and your podcast, Nobody Told Me That, are both on that list because number one, the verbal skills in the book are so great, and it's such easy reference. It's so great for team members to study. And the podcast, you did a great episode on the relationship of fee for service practices with insurance and
Yeah.
things that nobody told you
Nobody told you that.
service that, and so I do recommend everybody, if you don't follow Teresa's podcast, go. I don't even know what the title of it is,
I
of
don't
that one
remember with
episode,
that one. I can get it and send it to you.
but
Yeah.
it's look for fee for service insurance. I don't know. It was
Yeah,
a
it's
great
something like
episode.
the truth about going out of network, something like that.
Yes.
Something
Yes.
something like that. Yeah, it's been a little bit, but it's still true.
Yes. And I
Yeah.
think it's really important for practices that are fee for service or going out of network and going out of that relationship. I think it's important for them to listen to that because it's really good insights, and it doesn't necessarily discourage people from doing it. Just simply gives them more of a realistic lens to look
Mhm.
through of what to expect the reality of that to play out and look like.
Yeah.
Um, it's frustrating.
It is. It is frustrating, and you start to get really angry at patients, and I mean, I've done this enough times with offices, and we went out of network too. You do get angry at the patients because you almost feel like, why are you not like happy with us? Haven't we done so
Mm,
much for you? You almost feel like they're ungrateful, and
mhm,
you have to let that go,
mhm,
because it's not personal. Yeah, you're going to get your heart broken. You are.
mhm,
Patients are going to leave that you thought were going to stay forever,
mhm.
but it all works out, if you do it the right way. As long as you don't like, yank the ripcord and let go without any notice. That's a
Right.
disaster. It's all going to work out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you and I are both on the same mindset of timeline. If you're gonna release a plan, it is not a release it tomorrow
Mm-mm.
plan. It is
No.
6 to 12 months of, effort and intentional execution,
Yes.
um,
Yeah.
to do that and do that well.
Yeah.
Um, from that efficiency standpoint and from that, everything around the revenue cycle management, AI, I mean, I know it's such it's such the word. I mean, it's
I
not even
know.
a word, but it's
Yeah.
it's it's the topic of the day, of the week,
Mhm.
of the year, um, probably of the decade.
Oh yeah. This is it. This is like the email for our generation, right?
Yes.
Like, what is this email thing?
Um, we're already seeing services of various types, that are utilizing AI in insurance management
Yeah.
in various ways. Are you optimistic about that? How are you feeling about what's coming to the table? Um,
Yeah. It-
what are you
this
looking for and hoping this evolves into?
this is a really good question. Let me just give you the doctor's point of view for a second. This was really startling to me. So I just spoke at a big meeting, and the last session of the whole meeting, Saturday afternoon. I thought it's a great title, revenue cycle management with a focus on AI tools. Okay, not I'm kidding. That's not a great title. It's not sexy at all. I thought it was going to be the hardcore people that come and listen to my classes. It was 70% dentists. I did a raising of the hands and I was shocked. Okay, because lots of dentists come, but on a Saturday afternoon, like, what is this?
Right.
So, and they ask great questions, some beginner questions, but great questions. And I was walking out with one of the doctors and I said, I'm so stunned that there were so many doctors in this class. And he's like, well, honestly, for me, I go on the show floor and I don't know what the heck they're talking about. He's like, this was almost like a field guide of what's available and what I should be looking for. So, like, he was saying that when he goes to the booth, they just start talking to him like he's been using AI forever. And he's like, I don't even know what I'm
Right.
supposed to do with it. Right.
It's such
So,
a black box to a lot to I mean, we're still very much into the early adopter phase
yeah,
of
yeah.
this.
Oh, and it just struck me like these poor companies that are probably selling up here, and the dentist is still like scraping by to find out what the heck is going on.
Mhm,
So I've now, like, when I talk to doctors about it, I'm taking it down, not because they're on that level, but
mhm,
because I mean they're doing stuff all the time. They don't have the time to play around on the computer like some of
mhm,
us do, when
mhm.
we're trying to test things out. So the AI and the imaging is what we're used to, right? And I think that's great and it's
Right.
fantastic and it's evolving more and more. So AI and revenue cycle is pretty much where it's really landed is the verification and eligibility and the claims, right?
Mhm.
So what's unfortunate is that you've got office or companies out there saying we're completely AI. Um, we're going to get you everything. And so just right off the bat, if any of the vendors tell you we'll be able to get you, we're connected to every insurance company, we'll be able to get you all the data. Just say thank you very much and walk away because that's a
Mm.
lie. I get pitched all the time. The startups are plentiful in this space. There's no way they have everything. They just can't. And the good ones will tell you, we get what we can,
Right.
because the fact is the carriers, they're just not open. Like, all of that is not available for everyone. You have to
Mhm,
either have a back door, plus there's companies that don't even make that available. So there's just no way.
mm.
So I feel like that's still in flux until it's mandated at the government level that all that has to be open, which is coming pretty fast. So, where I'm excited is um, the AI for the notes, for clinical notes, because
Mhm.
I mean, I've probably complained about it on the podcast previously that the state of documentation in dentistry is terrible. So
Yes.
doctors are just, the templates aren't great. They're not putting enough detail down there. So if we've got a note-taking program that's going to have your templates and then prompt you to fill in missing templates, and you can take a look at carrier documentation, like when they would approve and when they wouldn't approve, and we can kind of meld it together. I feel like that's going to be the best scenario. So not only are you going to have great documentation for your claims, you're going to have great documentation in case you have to go in front of the state board, or if there's a malpractice claim, which I'm more concerned about those two things than getting your claims paid, to be honest. So we now have these companies that are listening, right? So there's two different types. They've got the ambient listening, where they're listening to the whole conversation and they're making documentations, but that means the doctor has to be pretty vocal.
Mm.
Sometimes that's not the case, or the assistant. What I'm seeing, what I think will be more adopted would be the templates that are helped, and then it's going to be kind of guiding you through completing that. It's going to take what you say to it, and it's going to then complete the templates. And I think that's a really good way of doing it. Anything that protects my dentist, I'm really happy about.
Yeah.
The AI probing, perio health. I mean, they're able to overlay onto the imaging. I think that's exciting. Um, AI, when it comes to claims, I mean, we've always been kind of using it. Like, it's just basically kicking it off if you've got missing information.
Mm.
On the carrier side, are they using AI? Yeah, they've been using it for a long time.
Mhm.
Are they using it to deny? Maybe, I don't know. I can't promise you yes or no, but honestly, what can we do? We can just make sure our documentation is pretty strong.
Yeah.
So,
I'm with
yeah,
you. I'm really excited about that too. I think that's going to help with clinical efficiency and accuracy, and to have in the system what we need to have just for the practice and internal communication, and scheduling, and for their claims. I mean, obviously for their
yeah,
claims.
yeah,
And if AI is giving us template, like, here's what you need to be. I mean, it's being taught by what's being approved.
yeah.
I would assume.
Well, and
And
that, but also the carrier documentation, right? And
yeah,
then, I mean, how many times do you look at a note, and what's best practice is including like a patient statement, or patient states this? Like, what if you're getting ready to sign off on the note, and the note's like, doctor, we're
yeah,
missing this. And did the patient have any complaints? Did the patient have any reply to this? Like, that's going to be a really comprehensive note,
yes,
that's going to stand on its own, and come at me with your audit, or come at me
yeah,
state board, right? Like, and
yeah,
that's what I want.
yeah,
So I'm excited about that. I do think the whole analytics piece is another part that's going to really shine. We really haven't measured, unless you were super nerdy like me, you weren't measuring like days to pay for claims, and which carrier was, you know, slower to pay than the other, and
yeah,
which appeals and all that. There's revenue cycle AI dashboard tools that focus just on insurance, like the actual receipt and processing of insurance claims. We're going to be able to really nail that down. And that way you can say, hey, Acme Insurance, you always pay us super late. We have the lowest fee schedule with you. It's just not working out with us anymore. And you have data to back that up. And that's pretty cool. That's
yeah.
pretty cool. Yeah. But we're not there yet. We're getting there. But yeah.
So you have another project, kind of, I think this is your labor of love, the Dental Revenue Network.
Yeah. Yeah.
That you've been. This is a year old at least.
Yeah.
Yes,
A year and a
two,
half. Yeah. A
year
year
and a
and a
half,
half now.
year and a half old,
Yeah.
and it's kind of separated into two cohorts. Those that are billers themselves that have their
Mhm.
own companies, and then those that are doing revenue cycle management and billing for a practice or a group of practices.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, uh, so I think I'm gonna put you in the hot seat on this a little bit.
Okay. Okay.
But what are the pieces of the insurance management that you feel like a practice qualifies or is ready or could benefit from outsourcing some of that?
Okay.
Because I think you're talking, you not only talk to these small businesses and maybe single owner billing companies, but you also
Yeah.
work with a lot of the big dogs. And
Oh,
so,
yeah. Yeah.
um, when is it a good time? What's that look like for like what practice was like, you could probably benefit from investing in outsourcing this?
So, thanks for mentioning it. So Dental Revenue Network, the member companies that are in it are U.S. based and operated, and to me that's
Mhm.
very important. I want our data to be in the U.S.
Yeah.
And it's going to be coming anyways. It's going to be mandated soon anyways. Um, what what I would say is there's a couple scenarios. If you're falling behind on posting and just all of those, perhaps you're short staffed. Now's a good time to do it. Not every billing company out there is looking for a long-term contract. If you tell them it's a short-term thing, many of them will work with you on that. And there's
Mhm.
definitely a few where all they do is clean up. So if you actually have a
Mhm.
situation, maybe you're star employee left and you thought everything was getting done, and then she leaves and you find out, oh my gosh, none of these claims were worked, which is unfortunately very common. There
Yes.
are companies who focus strictly on just cleanup and then they're gone. So it really depends on what you need at that moment. What we see often is not able to find a good replacement for somebody who left, or the person that's doing it is about to burn out and is saying, I need help now. So maybe
Yes.
they take the posting off of their plate and they still keep like the checking of the insurance and the talking about it with the patients in house, but all of the posting, the checks, the EFTs, all of that is done by a third party.
Mhm.
Some of the companies actually are doing call centers because it's been requested so much because of the lack of help up front. So
Right.
some of them are even offering, call answering services, and a couple of them for years have done for their existing clients treatment plan and reactivation call services.
Yeah.
So it's really across the whole gamut.
Mhm.
Honestly, if you just need help with that, there's going to be a company out there that can do it.
Yeah.
As a good purchaser of services, I would make sure that company has experience with your software, not just, oh yeah, we have a couple, like they have worked in it for years.
Mhm.
And again, US based, and then insist on at minimum a weekly report. Some of these companies do daily reports. Some of them have dashboards you can log in and see exactly where you are. So
Oh,
there
I
needs
like
to be
this.
some accountability on
So
the part of the company.
US based, there's a depth of experience with your software, and there's a
Mhm.
commitment to at least weekly reporting on what they've been doing for you. I love
Yeah,
the
yeah.
those recommendations. And I agree with you, Teresa. I think this is a prime time for a lot of practices to explore outsourcing this if you are
Mhm.
struggling with being short staffed, because you put yourself in a dangerous position when you have the wrong person in this seat,
Yeah.
or if you have no person in this seat.
No person
or,
is worse, but yeah.
or an extremely inexperienced, untrained person in this seat.
Yeah.
And then I also think sometimes we're putting our most experienced, our strongest business superstar, our office manager in this seat.
Yeah.
And is that the highest, best use of his or her time? And that's what I challenge people with all the time. You sitting in a back room with the door shut working on insurance, is that the best use of an office manager's time?
No.
Or would it make more sense to treat it as if you're hiring another person, but you're
Yeah,
hiring experience in that specific area of focus? I mean, to me, man, if it were me, I would be looking, and
I would
I'd
outsource.
be asking the right questions and looking for the right. To your point, I love how you pointed out there are different types that can help you in different ways,
Mhm.
and it's really get clear on what you really need and what you could benefit from the most, and if that's a long term or a short term relationship, and think about that investment as hiring another employee.
Well, and you can't see all admin as all admin. So I'll give you an example. When you have an impacted tooth, you're going to send it to an oral surgeon that has tons of experience with that, right? Like you
Mhm.
could do it, it's going to take you longer.
Right.
When it comes to contract negotiations, is it part of RCM? Yeah. Is it part of
Yeah.
insurance? Yeah. I wouldn't do it, and I'm in this industry. I would send it to someone who does it all day, every day, and loves it because they are going to know how to handle it. And that's why I think a lot of doctors, and I don't blame them, they've gone from admin being this
Mhm.
bucket of jobs to now into jobs with people reporting to them, with companies they've got to oversee. There's a lot of accountability now. And I mean, as dentistry has evolved, so
Yeah.
has RCM. Yeah.
I there's so much out there. I mean, it's crazy. So
Yeah.
much. So,
Yeah.
gosh, Teresa, I mean, so much on the horizon, so much that's already happening that's beneficial. I mean, such great points on what the positives are that AI is bringing to the table. I love that the those suggestions that you just gave. Any other common mishaps or um,
Oh,
issues
yeah.
popping up today? I mean, I know they're probably the same old second verse, same as the first in a lot of ways, but what are you seeing today that you're like, stop it?
You know what? Kind of second verse, same as the first, but now there's a twist on it because now, the ADA updated their radiographic guidelines and they got a lot of hate for it, which is like, stop it. So all they did was just added guidelines for CBCT. Nothing else was really affected, but everybody was like, oh my gosh, and jumping on them. Unwarranted. But what happened was Principal Insurance took advantage, I believe, of the situation. I feel that and basically said, we're going to start requesting documentation for all these radiographs or whatever. And for all these dentists, probably they just start blaming the ADA. ADA's phone lines blew up. I felt so bad for them. So same verse, third verse, same as this verse. Okay, here we go. Whatever you said. We've always had to document for radiographs, but it's now super important because the
Yeah.
carriers are asking for it more than ever. And I got to tell you, Carrie, none of your people are going to love this. I'm glad they're asking for it for one reason, because we didn't do a good job of it as an industry. Our radiographs are supposed to be prescribed based on individual needs of the patients, and too many offices out there are saying bite wings every 6 months for everyone, FMX every 3 years for everyone. And if you write that in the chart, or if it's in any of your standard operating procedures, you're not doing standard of care,
Mm.
because it's ALARA, it's as little radiation as possible, right? So it should be prescribed. So here's a quick, easy fix. And so your doctors should be doing this in their templates. Anytime you take a radiograph, we need to write down why the radiograph is needed. So just add to your templates, radiographs required due to need to see interproximal surfaces. Um, as indicated, regular radiographs should be taken at every 12 months, 15 months, whatever. The doctor has to put something in there on why the radiograph is needed. And
Mm.
then what they're looking for on the back end is, was the radiograph reviewed? So in your notes, radiographs reviewed, just radiographs reviewed. And then, your findings are afterwards. Those two phrases in your documentation are going to meet the criteria that principal is putting forth. But here's the other piece. They've got to be of diagnostic quality. And that's where I think a lot of doctors let people who are taking terrible x-rays get away with it. So if you take a
Mhm.
terrible x-ray, you really shouldn't bill for it, because it's actually not of diagnostic quality. You didn't deliver a good product. And this is going to ruffle a lot of feathers. But this is why a lot
Say
of
it louder
carriers
for the people in the back, Teresa.
a lot of carriers will ask for money back if they come in and audit and your radiographs are not, if you've got cone cuts, overlap, because what you did was you billed for an unfinished procedure, and they'll ask for money back every time, and they have the right to it. So my equivalence is, if I were to go for a mammogram and the tech was like, yeah, I did the best I could, and then billed me for it, like, that's not acceptable, right? And
Mhm.
I would have every right to complain and say, you're not charging me for that. Just that patients don't know enough to do that, but the carriers do. So when your insurance coordinator is sending in a radiograph that's awful, they're not just looking the other way anymore. Like, they're looking to see, is this what you send in? Because we're paying you for these terrible radiographs. We're going to start auditing you more and more. And so I'm not surprised it's come to this, but I understand the outrage from the providers, but I understand why it's happening, because I've sat on the other side for a long time and looked at claims reviews, and it's bad out there, Carrie. It's bad.
I think what that advice that in education that you just gave right then is worth the price of entry.
Good. I hope so.
It's important stuff, sometimes it's the things we don't wanna hear that are things we need to hear the most, right? And there's a lot of people out there, and if this is ruffling your feathers, maybe I'm talking to you, that you're letting a lot of apathy in that aspect of clinical care slide. And And now they're just putting your feet to the fire and asking us to do everything that's expected plus a little bit more.
Yeah.
That's the standard of care. I had like 3 other things I wanted to talk about, but we're going to have to just do this sooner than 5 years from now.
Yes, please. That'd be great.
I mean, you're my friend. This doesn't have to be an Olympic event. So, odysseymanagement.com, MGMT, odysseymgmt.com
Yep.
is where they can find more about you. And through there, they can link up to find Dental Revenue Network, correct? Is there
or dentalrevenuenetwork.com. You can go
Okay.
straight to it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you're curious about either, all of the resources, Teresa's got some tremendous resources and tools on the Odyssey Management website. And of course, the Dental Revenue Network, if you're looking for ongoing training and education in insurance management. And don't forget, nobody told me that podcast. I'm telling you guys, subscribe.
Thank you.
And honestly, if you're subscribed to the Jameson Files or you're not subscribed to that one, I don't know what alternative universe that is. But Teresa, I love you, my friend. Thank you for being with me. Let's do this again soon, okay?
Back at you, my friend.
And thanks to all of you that follow along with the Jameson Files community. Be well, and we'll see you next time.